Before we even get into the main topic of this video, I just want to preface, this is not a hate video. I am not hating on My Hero Academia in this video. I absolutely adore this series and everything about it. So please do not click on this video thinking this is a video about me hating on My Hero Academia, because it is not. What this video really is me criticizing the My Hero Academia anime and talking about how badly the adaptation of the anime is compared to the manga, because recently it's become very noticeable. The manga versus the anime is completely night and day. The whole adaptation is being fumbled right now. So the season 7 trailer of My Hero Academia came out recently, and a lot of people have come out to just say that the quality of the series' adaptation has completely fallen off in comparison to what it used to be. Seasons 1 through 4 of My Hero Academia were absolute perfection. It was everything you can ask for an anime adaptation to do. It brought the manga into life. In fact, I would go as far as to say that seasons 1 through 4 of the My Hero Academia anime were executed better than the manga was. Especially season 2 with the My Hero Academia Sports Festival. I just have to say that is one of the greatest arcs I have ever watched. Now, I may be saying that because of the nostalgia, but that arc just felt so perfect to me. Especially all of the build up from fight to fight. I'm just a massive tournament guy. I love tournament arcs in anime. And My Hero Academia had one of the best, I feel like. And all the build up to the fight between Todoroki versus Deku was absolutely worth it, because this was such a phenomenal fight that went down in anime history as one of the best fights of all time that we've seen adapted onto the big screen. My Hero Academia Season 3 was just as good, especially with the All For One versus All Might fight. It had all of us practically rooting for All Might as if we were in the verse watching him fight. All the emotions, everything was just there. The music, the animation, the choreography, everything was perfect in those first seasons. I would say even season 4 of the My Hero Academia anime was better than the manga, especially with that crazy Deku versus Overhaul fight. Again, another banger fight, season after season after season. Everything was going perfect for this series. However, I feel like things kind of took a turn during season 5, because that's when I started seeing more and more people come out and talk about their disappointment with the My Hero Academia anime, whereas before, I've never heard anyone complain about the series' adaptation. Now, season 5 was practically set up to fail for multiple reasons. For one, it was starting out with probably the most boring arc in the entire story, which was the joint training arc between Class 1A and Class 1B. There was really only one single interesting matchup during that entire arc, and that was the matchup where we got to see Deku's Black Whip in action. Other than that, all the matchups were really boring. They didn't progress the story in any single way. It was kind of a way for us to just see the skill set of all the different characters. But what sucks is that we didn't even see that skill set later on from the Class 1B characters. It really wasn't that important of an arc. It wasn't that interesting, besides the fact that we got to learn a lot more about Deku's One For All. The second reason why this season was doomed to fail was because during the airing of this season, the My Hero Academia movie was also coming out. And for some reason, because of this, the studio behind the My Hero Academia anime decided to completely rearrange the order of the arcs. So we were supposed to get the Meta Liberation Army arc next, but instead, we got the training arc between Deku, Todoroki, Bakugo, and Endeavor. And the Endeavor Agency arc is another very slow arc in My Hero Academia, because it focuses a lot more on Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki, and Endeavor as characters, and it gives them a lot more character development. And I'm not saying that character development is a bad thing. I absolutely love arcs that focus on character development. It's just, when you have a boring arc like the joint training arc, the best thing to do is for the next arc to be action-packed, so it balances out with one another. It doesn't really work when you have a slow arc followed by another slow arc. That's the best way to kill somebody's interest in a series. Anyways, by the end of season 5, we finally reached the meta liberation arc of My Hero Academia, and here's where we notice the biggest problem My Hero Academia now faces: setting the tone. The meta liberation arc up until this point was meant to be the darkest arc in the entire series, completely focusing on the villains and no one else. If you have an arc that is meant to be dark and focus completely on the villains, the best thing you can do is set the tone, and this arc did not do that in the anime at all. Like, this whole meta liberation army arc took place in the middle of the day with a bright blue sky and the brightest, most vibrant colors I have ever seen in an anime arc. That is not how you set a tone to an arc that is dedicated about villains. Throughout this arc, we're learning more about each villain in the series. We're learning more about the meta liberation army. We're learning more about our own main villains, especially Shigaraki, who has one of the darkest backstories in the entire series. So despite us being exposed to a very dark part of the story and this dark element of My Hero Academia, the lighting and the colors that they chose makes me feel like I'm watching a kid's cartoon where they're about to break into a dance and start singing to one another. And before people start going into the comments and start saying that, oh, in the manga, the battle takes place during the day. Okay, cool. Personally, I would have preferred if they just changed it to nighttime. I feel like that would have been way better. But even if it was taking place during the day, you have ways to make the daytime seem a lot more gray and a lot darker than it actually is. It's called light. There's plenty of animes out there where it's daytime, but it still has that dark tone to it. It's not completely day. Like, the colors are more drained, if you guys know what I'm talking about here. And unfortunately, this vibrant color scheme has stuck around to curse the entirety of My Hero Academia Season 6. Just like the Meta Liberation arc, the first war arc in the My Hero Academia anime follows the exact same vibrant color scheme. This is a war arc. You have people dying and fighting for their lives right now. And again, it just seems like a really happy tone when that's not the case at all. But not only is the tone not there, the animation quality also completely falls off in Season 6 of My Hero Academia. Especially with the biggest fight in the entire series, that being Deku versus Shigaraki. I'm sorry, but the animation quality of that fight was simply not good. I remember watching it when it first aired and being like, wow, they really fumbled with this fight. This fight was Deku versus Shigaraki, the main character versus the main villain. It's crazy that out of all of the fights, they fumbled that one. Thankfully, the tone of the series changed for Deku's Vigilante arc, and for a few episodes, we had that dark, rainy atmosphere to reflect Deku's character. But one thing I found really weird is at the start of Deku's Vigilante arc, in the opening, they had a really good shot of Deku standing on top of a building with rain, buildings being destroyed around him. It was a really good shot from the manga reflecting Deku's change. However, in the actual anime, they change it back to this vibrant blue sky, and I get it, it's more accurate to the manga, but why change it in the opening if you had so many fans that were praising the change and talking about how much better this change was compared to this blue sky? And once again, the fact that it was so vibrant is the problem. You can have a blue sky, that is not the problem at all. I hope you guys understand. It's just if the story is going to start to get dark, maybe drain the colors a little bit to reflect that. So season 5 was like the slight decline in quality. Meanwhile, season 6 was the absolute fumble with the My Hero War arc being a complete disaster in the anime with no tone, and the animation quality completely falling off for the war arc as well. The season 7 trailer came out a few days ago, and again, the tone is completely messed up once again for the arc. It's vibrant colors, bright blue sky, and this is the most important arc in the entire story. This is the arc where characters are once again fighting for their lives and fighting to determine the fate of the entire world. Yet again, it doesn't feel like that at all. It just feels so empty. And not only is the tone a problem, but another big problem that the My Hero Academia anime has is it fails to capture Hirokoshi's art in the series. Now, this may be an impossible task to do because Hirokoshi's art is something else. This guy is one of the best manga artists of all time. Yes, of all time. If you guys look at his art in the My Hero Academia manga, you would agree. The detail of it is absolutely insane, and he, as an artist, is on a different level. And unfortunately, the anime just fails to capture that same art style, the same level of detail. And again, I understand that animation is a lot harder than drawing still images. But we have anime adaptations out there that are successfully able to capture the entire manga's essence in its anime, and they're able to even improve on it. My Hero Academia has also done this. I fully, again, believe that the first 4 seasons of the My Hero Academia anime were better than the My Hero Academia manga. It's just after season 4, they weren't able to capture that same level of detail again. And what finally got me to talk about this issue is the latest shot that was released from season 7 of My Hero Academia. It's the shot where Todoroki and Dabi are facing off with the All Might statue in the back saying heroes must die. The shot in the anime is absolutely atrocious in comparison to the shot in the manga. In comparison to the shot in the manga, there's first off absolutely no intensity behind the shot in the anime. Like, you can practically feel the aura oozing out of Dabi and Todoroki within the manga. Meanwhile, in the anime's image, there is absolutely no tension between the two. There is no aura or anything of the sort. My second big issue with the shot in the anime is how small the All Might statue is in the background. That is supposed to be an imposing piece in the manga's shot. Because, again, this is a battle to determine the fate of the world. And to have that All Might statue in the back is a reflection of what's going on right now, and it reflects well between what's going on between Todoroki and Dabi. So to see that statue cast aside in the background like it's nothing is such an unfortunate thing to see. Now, some of you may say that I'm nitpicking about this. Oh, it's just a blue sky. What are you talking about? Or it's just colors, or it's just one shot. But all these things piled up make a big problem. Tone affects a series a lot. How do you expect fans to build some sort of emotional connection to a series if the tone is completely off at all times? The My Hero Academia anime just fails to do the manga justice on so many levels, and it is so unfortunate to see, because imagine if My Hero Academia got the same treatment as Jujutsu Kaisen's anime did, or even as Demon Slayer's. It would easily be the most talked about manga out right now, because the story is so good and it has so many great characters and so many great fight scenes. And the anime adaptation isn't bad. It's just painfully mediocre. And the fact that it's mediocre is the reason why the My Hero Academia series is not talked about that much anymore. And it's why so many other new series like Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer overshadow My Hero Academia by such a large amount. This is what happens when a series is just average and it has to compete against other series that are definitely not average. Anytime somebody criticizes the My Hero Academia anime, I always see a swarm of people being like, oh, just be grateful for the series. Okay, if we're always grateful for mediocre quality, what do you think is going to happen? You think the quality is one day going to go up magically? No, the studio is going to be like, okay, people aren't complaining about it. We'll keep the quality mediocre. We want better quality as fans. We want the manga to be perfectly captured within the anime. And we're not going to get that for being grateful for the mediocrity that we've been receiving these past seasons. Overall, we haven't seen much of season 7 yet, so I'm not going to be insanely quick to judge. But from what we have seen, it's not looking good. It looks like it's just going to be another repeat of season 6 of My Hero Academia. And it's so unfortunate to see because My Hero Academia is such an amazing series. The manga is so good. I just wish we got a better anime adaptation. Anyways, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and make sure to like and subscribe and let me know what other videos you guys want to see in the future. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and I'll see you guys on the next one.